What it do, Panthers Nation? It is your boy Aaron Duncan here with the Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk, back again with another Panthers video. Today we got a boatload of news to go over, so I decided to combine all these topics into one video. You know, typically I only focus on one topic in each video, but there was so much stuff to cover, I had to group it all together. So you guys let me know if you like this style of video, and I'll keep doing a little bit more when it comes to combining when there's a lot of stuff that goes down. But if there's something that's important enough that I feel like I need to give it its undivided attention, I will do that. But I just want to know you guys' opinion on how you feel about me combining all these topics into one video. So let me know down below in the comments. But if you're new here, make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell icon because, like I said, I'm dropping these videos to give you updates. There's a lot of news, so I'm trying to keep up with it. And if you want to keep up with it, you got to subscribe and hit the bell icon. And please give this video a thumbs up because today we're talking about a couple of topics. We're talking about Teddy Bridgewater's trade value. We're talking about Taylor Moton and his franchise tag. We're talking about new coaches that have been hired. And we're also talking about some signing of some restricted free agents on this team. So let's go ahead and get into it. So Teddy Bridgewater's trade value is an interesting thing to talk about because we just signed this guy last offseason to a 3-year deal. Now it seems like we're already trying to move on from these guys. There's reports that came out that the Panthers are looking to move on from Teddy Bridgewater because of physical limitations. And it's just puzzling to me because Teddy Bridgewater pretty much had a par for course season. His career high in touchdown passes in the season was 14. He had 15 this year. He did add some running touchdowns and showed that side of his game, but he pretty much has been the same Teddy Bridgewater that he's been since day one. So for them to not see these physical limitations before they sign him to a 3-year, $60 million deal, it's a head scratcher. But we've been confused about some of the moves that this team has been making from the front office all offseason. But the reason why I'm talking about his trade value is because Ian Rappaport, once again, I don't like quoting this guy, but he went on NFL Network and had a quote like this.
Yeah, spinning the quarterback carousel is something we're going to be doing basically every day from now until probably the draft at least. And, you know, Andrew, trying to figure out who the next quarterback is going to be traded. Really the better question is a quarterback going to be traded anytime soon? It looked like this was spinning and going fast. And now it seems from talking to the teams involved, the teams who still need a quarterback, and some of the teams who may end up trading a quarterback, everyone seems pretty stuck right now. And here are the reasons why. The Jets are not going to make a decision on Sam Darnold until at least they complete their quarterback evaluations. That is not going to happen at least until April, so you got time there. When teams have called the Houston Texans on Deshaun Watson about trading, and not just trading for Watson, trading for anyone, what they've been told essentially is no on Watson, but could talk about potentially a lot of other players, but no on Watson. Marcus Mariota had an active trade market as of last week. Sounds like that is dried up for a couple different reasons. Teddy Bridgewater, who I know the Panthers have gotten some calls, that is nowhere now. It seems everyone is kind of stuck waiting for the next shoe to drop, but I don't get the sense it's anytime soon.
And it's just funny to me because, like I said, I'm telling you guys that Ian Rappaport is being paid and given free tips and inside information from the Panthers to put this type of info out there. You know, the fact that they were discussing all this QB carousel and all these other quarterbacks, and then right at the end, he decided to sprinkle on Teddy Bridgewater news about teams calling about Teddy Bridgewater, just lets me know that he's getting paid to tag this stuff in, because when we were talking about the Deshaun Watson rumors, what did they do? I put a clip in there. He dropped the Panthers. Don't sleep on the Panthers being a potential target. After he said all that jargon about the Dolphins and the Jets, he dropped in the Panthers name just because I think somebody from the inside the organization is paying him and putting bugs in his ear to put these narratives out there to see what can happen. Now, what do you gain from putting something like this out there when it comes to Teddy Bridgewater? What are teams calling about? Obviously, they know that you've been bashing him and making moves and offering certain picks along with him for Matthew Stafford. You've been constantly rumored to be involved in the Deshaun Watson escapades and the pursuit of him. So they know that you're actually trying to move on to Teddy. They know you're not married to him. The problem is when you continue to bash Teddy in the media, talking about his physical limitations, saying you want Matt Stafford or you want Deshaun Watson, nobody's going to blame you for trying to upgrade the quarterback position. But when you can constantly show that your hand that you're looking to desperately move on, people are going to come and lowball you. You lower Teddy Bridgewater's trade value. Teddy Bridgewater is a competent starting quarterback. He's just not a great fit for what Carolina is trying to do. He needs a team that's already in place. I call him a rich man's Jimmy Garoppolo. Not a poor man's Jimmy Garoppolo, a rich man's Jimmy Garoppolo. When you have a good defense, a good running game, simple pass concepts, and a short yardage that you can do, Teddy Bridgewater will be a great fit, I think, in San Francisco. He's Jimmy Garoppolo, like I said, just a lot more steady. But this team, being how young it is, being how many missing pieces that we have, we need someone that can elevate the roster. And Teddy Bridgewater just isn't that guy. But you continue to lower his trade value the more you talk about him, put these bad reports out, talk about you're going to trade for him. So management is doing a bad job of not keeping a poker face about what they're trying to do at the quarterback position. The whole NFL sees it. And now the trade value of Teddy Bridgewater goes down. I don't know exactly what it is. He's a competent starting quarterback. So there's plenty of teams that don't have a competent starting quarterback that would like him. Maybe the Jags, maybe the Bears, maybe the Jets, something like that. You never know. But the dropping his value, the more desperate you seem. And I'm a little bothered by it. In all likelihood, I think Teddy Bridgewater is actually going to be on this roster next year. I think we're not going to get Deshaun Watson. I think we're going to honestly end up having to trade up in the draft to get a young quarterback. So Teddy will need to be here. How does it work with Teddy Bridgewater possibly having a bridge burnt with him unfollowing on Instagram and seeing all these reports about him possibly being traded? I don't know. It is a business, but at the same time, there is a level of respect that you need to have. So the next topic we're going to talk about is Taylor Moton and the franchise tag and contract extension talks. Now, Taylor Moton, our prized possession on this roster, our prized free agent. We know we don't have that many good offensive linemen anyway, so we have to hold on to the quality ones we have. Matt Paradis is the only returning lineman that is under contract that was a starter. Everybody else is gone. Everybody else is a free agent. Taylor Moton, we have the rights to him. He is a restricted free agent, so we can't franchise tag him. That window opened up this past Tuesday. We have exclusive rights to him. The franchise tag for the right tackle position is between 13 and 15 million from what I'm hearing. So that doesn't seem like a very bad deal, especially when you see that right tackles are getting $16 million a year when it comes to like Trent Brown out there in Oakland after he left the Patriots. However, according to Pro Football Focus, they project him to get a 5-year, $82.5 million deal. Now, before you leave this YouTube video and pull out your calculator app, it is $16.5 million average per year, which seems like a lot of money, but at the same time, when you actually sign a long-term deal versus a franchise tag, you can play around with the bonuses, the signing bonuses and stuff like that. That way, the full $16.5 million doesn't always count against your salary cap space. So with the franchise tag, the full contract is guaranteed because it's only 1 year. So all that money is going to go against your cap space. Now, the Panthers, after making these moves and cuts that I referenced in a video earlier this week, they are now the team in the league with the 7th most salary cap space going into the offseason. That is huge. Top 7, we had close to $40 million in cap space, which makes us very competitive when you say that we're number 7 in the league. Now, there are some teams that have an astronomical amount of cap space when it comes to guys like the Browns or the Jags or the Jets, guys like that. So they can just throw money around. But being number 7 allows us to be very competitive and get to kind of put our finger and kick the tires on pretty much almost any target that we want in free agency. So to be able to get Taylor Moton under a long-term contract, be able to actually not eat up that full $16 million per year that he may get in a regular contract seems to be a great plan to me, and we have to get this done. The biggest part about why we need to get it done is because if we do that, the quicker we do that, we know we're at the salary cap position. If we wanted to try to make a play to keep Curtis Samuel like I think we need to, and I think we should big time, it gives you that cap flexibility. Now, if you get stuck with that franchise tag, that eats up a lot more salary cap than you need to because you can't really bring him back, and you may have to go look to the draft for somebody cheaper. But I would love to keep Curtis Samuel on this roster. And now with the franchise tag period being open and available for discussion, we'll see what happens, especially with free agency only 2 weeks away. So there's going to be a lot going on for this team moving forward. The next topic we're going to talk about is the Panthers and the new coaches that they put in place. Now, we know our coaching staff really got picked apart. Like, they were picking us like apples in the orchard during apple season. It was like ripe for the picking. You would have thought that we won the Super Bowl that way they came and got coaches from our roster. Luckily, we were able to retain Joe Brady, but we lost our quarterback coach and some other offensive and defensive staff, whether it was just moving on or them getting new jobs. Nevertheless, people are going to have to be replaced. We went down to the Senior Bowl with a watered-down roster. I know Matt Rhule probably bought some guys that he liked. However, we finally made some moves to replace the guys that we lost. Frank Oakham has been promoted to the defensive line coach. And this guy is a former player for Matt Rhule, of course. This is one of Matt Rhule's old guys. He used to play for him at Baylor. I told you guys about Matt Rhule and his nepotism. If you played with him, coached with him, played for him before, he's going to look out for you and put on, man. This is commendable. But at the same time, people could just be using the Panthers for a come up, do their 1 or 2 years, and move on, as you saw this past offseason, losing all these guys. So it's going to be a lot of turnover, and I think Matt Rhule actually is embracing this. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Ideally, you want to get a system in place where it doesn't matter who your coach is, because like Belichick loses coaches, Andy Reid loses coaches, Nick Saban in college loses coaches. But he has a system in place that way it doesn't matter who coaches up under them. They're going to develop and know what to do to follow in that system, and you don't miss a beat when it comes to being successful year after year. But they also brought in a veteran coach, Don Johnson, to be the pass rush specialist. And I think that's a good thing to have, because we may need somebody to come and help bring a different voice to the defensive line. Obviously, Frank Oakham doesn't really have a ton of experience coaching D-line as the primary coach. So having somebody like a vet like Don Johnson there to help, nothing but good. We definitely need help in the pass rush area. So I kind of like having this extra coach on the staff. 2 more assistant coaches were added with no specific title added to them. And one was Terrence Knighton, the former defensive lineman that used to play for Matt Rhule when he coached at Temple. And Garrett McGuire, a former quarterback who was the quarterback there for the last 3 seasons under Matt Rhule. Like I said, Matt Rhule is all about nepotism. He's going to put people on that he has relationships with, that he has a background with, that are going to listen to him, that respect him, because he's a new coach and he's still trying to make a way for himself and make his voice be heard. There may be some veteran coaches that may not always respect what he's trying to do, so he needs to get guys that are like-minded, that believe in him, that have experience with him to be on his roster. Now, these 2 guys, like I said, they're former players, so we'll see how fast they climb the ladder as far as what position they'll be and what their future is with this team. The final topic to discuss is the re-signing of restricted free agents on this Panthers roster. Now, the Panthers have re-signed Brandon Zylstra, Keith Kirkwood, and Trent Scott, the left tackle, to 1-year deals and they were restricted free agents. Now, this tells me something, because these other guys that play receiver, they're depth pieces. They play some special teams. They're former Matt Rhule guys, of course. But Trent Scott was an undrafted free agent. He came out of Grambling State a couple years back. He had started some games before, but he's still early in his career. Matt Rhule called him one of the most pleasant surprises of last season, and he had to get a lot of playing time because we had some instability on our offensive line when it comes to health. But the biggest thing this 1-year deal tells me about Trent Scott is they like the way he's developed, for one. And 2, they really don't trust in Greg Little. Greg Little, our former pick under Marty Hurney, we gave up a lot, and they thought he was a first-round talent we got in the 2nd round. He hasn't really worked out, whether it's been health, technique, lack of blocking skills, just period. He's just not a great player. And it seems that Matt Rhule may not be sold on Greg Little, so this could be the beginning of the end. I would not be surprised to see Greg Little, if he doesn't make any strides, get cut during training camp, because I just don't think they like him. And I think there's honestly a good chance that we make a strong move for a left tackle in the draft to go ahead and shore that up. Maybe they try to kick him inside to guard, since we don't have that many guard pieces. That's my thought process. However, with Dennis Daly coming back and possibly playing guard too, and Trent Scott being a depth piece at left tackle, like I said, I think we addressed it in the draft, and this could be no room in the end for Greg Little. You may not play left tackle and kick you inside, since you're not good in space when it comes to blocking, and see how that works out. Otherwise, he could possibly be a candidate to get cut in training camp. Pay attention to that, and I said that first. However, the 2 wide receiver pieces, they're good to have, like I said, because they're special teams players. We have a pretty solid wide receiver room when it comes to the top. We may be losing Curtis Samuel, but I'm sure we will pick up somebody else. And obviously, we still have Omar Bayless, a fan favorite, of people want to see what he has. So it'll be interesting to see how we move forward from that wide receiver position. But you guys let me know down below in the comments how you feel about any of these topics we talked about. How do you feel about Teddy Bridgewater and his trade value? What do you feel about Taylor Moton? Do you think they're beating around the bush and need to go ahead and get this long-term deal straightened out? Let me know down below in the comments. But without further ado, I'm Aaron Duckett signing off for the Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.